5.9 is the Quiet Fire. With me is Faith Evans. How you doing, lady?
I am wonderful. Thank you. How are you?
I'm wonderful too. Now, what have you been doing? Where have you been?
Ooh, today alone I've been in 3 states. I did take Wendy Williams this morning for tomorrow. I just left Delaware, and now I'm here in Baltimore, which is, one of my favorite places to be, always.
Now, musically, what have you been doing? I know you have been. You fell off. Not, I shouldn't say fell off, but I know that you
Never
have been.
that.
I know you've been.
Definitely took a little.
Took a little break.
break.
Was it personal or what was going on with you?
Everything is always personal. I mean, I transitioned from my last label home. I got my new imprint with E1 Music. My
That's
own
Koch,
CEO,
right?
yes,
Okay.
formerly Koch. I had my fourth child, who's now 3. I wrote and released my memoir, so I definitely wasn't sitting back falling off. I fell back from actually being in the studio, but I had to do it at the right time. That's a huge commitment, and to put my heart and soul into going in and making a record. I just didn't feel it would be handled the right way had I made another record at my last label home. So it was actually something that I didn't want it to be where I'm in the studio day and night for who knows how long, a year, and then my fans feel like, okay, they didn't really do the right thing with that record, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So they were undergoing some changes that would have probably affected my project, so I waited it out. But thank God for my faithfuls out there, because they understand that quality withstands the test of time.
So why did you change label?
Well, like I said, I transitioned from my last label home, which was a major, just because they're still probably getting bought out, and they keep switching up the people that are on the staff. So
Okay.
When it was time to go back in and make another record, it's like I don't really know who's here that even I would even know that they got my back. You know what I mean? The people that brought me there, that signed me, everybody was gone. So I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I knew when I did do another deal, I wanted to do an independent deal, because I want to own my masters. I want to be my own boss, and I don't want to crash with somebody else driving,
So how long you been in this business?
Actually, this year marks 15 years since my first album came out. Okay. But I mean, I was definitely, doing stuff for a couple of years prior to my first album coming out.
Now, 15 years is a long time.
It really is.
How has the music industry changed?
It's changed in many ways. I mean, shoot.
There's
now so many single-based deals. People getting signed on a single deal. But for me, I don't really. To be honest, I consider myself totally blessed to still be able to be relevant, to still have fans, and people that have grown with me. Some of them grown up, with me, and I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm an exception, because I'm still out here on the grind trying to sell some records. By the way, my new album is in stores right now. Something about faith, but but I know that I have people that love what I do, and that's good enough. I'll take it. I don't measure my success by a number of record sales or the number I am on the charts. As long as I can go and see it in people's face that they're sincerely like, oh my God, I love your music. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Now, what are some pitfalls, evils, would you say are in this music industry?
Well, they're all over. I mean, I think just in life in general, you just got to have, in the industry, you definitely have to have a tough skin, because, you could come into it with some different expectations. There's a lot of pitfalls, though. My next book is actually going to be sort of an informational handbook from an artist, writer, producer perspective, kind of. My personal advice would be to stay in prayer and just pray that you make the right decisions, because that's a difficult thing to do when you don't necessarily know, especially if it's something new to you, if it's a lane that you don't really know about. I was from the church when I first signed my deal. I mean, although I grew up in Brick City in Newark, which is not, all rosy and not a bowl of cherries all the time, but I had to kind of turn on that hard exterior once I got in the music business, because I didn't want nobody to think it was sweet just because I was a church girl. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I've heard the music industry is 70% business, 30% music.
Yeah.
Is that true? Okay.
Well, for me, in terms of the context you're speaking from, absolutely. But, I love making great music. I've just grown to apply the things that I've learned to be wise enough to know to be on top of my business, which is why I did the type of deal I did, because I can't blame nobody. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, if I'm trying to make sure everything is the way it should be, make sure everybody's properly credited, make sure y'all know the split, so ain't nobody complaining about not getting no royalties and no, you know, I've had that. I've been a part of projects like that before, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna do something different, and I own my masters.
That is wonderful.
Speaking of the new CD, what can we expect? What can we expect differently from that CD as opposed to the others?
This is definitely my most feature heavy album. I've never had an album with so many features from other artists, and it wasn't really planned that way. But everything just came together, and then somebody might call me to do something on their album. I'm like, okay, well, I got a song you could get on too, you know. So, you know, it kind of just came together that way, and it was a wonderful feeling just to see and be reminded of the different peers of mine that are, you know, very well respected in their own right, that this love Faith Evans, you know. That's kind of how the title came about. I really didn't think much of it because, you know, one day we was in the studio and I think about 3 people that we ain't even expect to come through came by. Like Devontae Swing came out the house to come to the studio. I was going to do something with him on the album. We never got around to it. But, I mean, you know, somebody was like, dang, they really, like, they love you. I was like, it's something, you know.
Something
and then
about faith.
From then on, I knew what the title of my album was going to be.
That's wonderful.
Now, what is your favorite cut on the album?
Oh, wow. That's so hard.
Do you get to choose the single?
Absolutely. I decide everything.
Wonderful.
I am my own boss. I crossed all
and that's
all the T's and dotted all the
I's.
I's.
Have with Koch, right? You can
Yes,
do
E1 Music now.
Okay.
E1 Music.
E1 Music.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean everything from calling people, clearing their, you know, putting my lawyer in touch. No, I know his lawyer's name is such and such. Hold on, let me call Snoop and, you know, making sure everybody's credits was right. Although they sent something to the printer and messed up one of the credits on my Best Buy. You know, the Best Buy version of my album has more songs, bonus songs on it. And there's a song called Robot that Malik Pendleton, who produced and co-wrote it, he's like improperly credited on it. So I'm just kind of trying to help him out by trying to correct it any way I can, because we can't pull him off the shelf just to do that. But, you know, shout out to Malik Pendleton.
Your latest single, Gone Already. Tell us about that.
Gone Already. Thank you guys so much for supporting the record too. I mean, it's you know, it's doing pretty well, and I don't take for granted. You never know what something is going to do. I knew it was a great song when I heard it, but it was demoed by a guy. I kind of, when I heard it, it was in a different key, and I rewrote it, rewrote certain parts, rearranged the hook, and I had to raise the key and, you know, put my little stank on it. But I knew it was a good song. I was actually done recording, I thought, until I heard that song, and I was trying to figure out what's the first single. So when I finally got it to where I wanted it to be, I'm like, that's definitely the first single right there.
Who produced it?
It was produced by myself, Faith Evans, yours truly, Carvin and Ivan. Shout out to Carvin and Ivan, and Johnny Smith out of Philly.
Now, who are some of the producers that you've worked with, love working with?
Oh, well, one of my very favorites, of course, I had to take it back, Chucky Thompson, who was a huge part of my first album. He did about 5 songs on this new album. Okay. One of them, I think, is only on the Best Buy version, but we got to work together again. He's definitely one of my favorites because we just have a certain chemistry. Like, he'd go and play the music for me and leave out and come back and he wants to hear, you know, like, okay, I already know you did something hot, you know. And Carvin and Ivan as well, you know. Shout out to Jose Clowney, too, who's my homeboy from out here in Maryland. And he worked on my first album. He actually, he played on As Soon As I Get Home, and he produced a song on my Faithfully album, Big H. And he let me use his studio one time when I was down here doing a show while I was making this album. But unfortunately, we didn't get to work on a song together. But I just want to give him a shout out because I got so much love from him. Big H Productions, how you doing?
Well, I want you to introduce your new single, Gone Already.
Right here, y'all, on Magic 95.9. This is the first single off Something About Faith, which is in stores online right now. Check it out.